Well, Zan and I decided to take a walk. Well, decided to take a walk. Zan just went along and just got walking up this wash, and somebody mentioned something about some ancient markings. So here we are. This wash is, wide and hard to walk on. Really loose gravel, but we're about, I'll say, 2+ miles from our camp, and we came across this big outcropping of rocks here in the wash. And there's ATV trails around it, and I think the way it looks, this wash goes on around, and this section of rocks behind me connected with this section of rocks at one time, and over the millions of years all this is probably just washed out. So this is pretty cool. This is ancient history, and to find ginormous rocks, let's get a little closer. Zan's over here in the shade. He got pretty warmed up walking through the desert. Once again, I forgot to bring water, but anyway, I didn't think I was going to walk this far, but we found some petroglyphs up here on the hills rock side. Here we go. How cool is that? Petroglyphs from who knows how long. I don't know if there's any more. I can just see those two. There's some markers down here. Might have some old, looks like some old things on it. But amazing. You can see those. Let me zoom on it right there. It's like a number 9 almost. And then some things. But they're kind of in there. They're hard to see, but they are definitely embedded into the rock. And this rock is interesting because it's just made up of layers and layers and layers. You can just see the different layers of rock. There's a pup laying in the shade. You can just stand back and see the different layers of rock. Like, there's a layer right through here, and there's another layer. Just cool. And some open holes. I would not want to stick my head too far back up in there. That's a good place for, I would say, rattlesnakes to go hide because it's nice and cool. Well, we're looking around. There's also some other things that we want to look at, but I don't see any more petroglyphs. That's kind of cool. Be out here in the middle of the desert. I mean, I'm not the first one to find them. They're actually on Google. You can. I found them by putting petroglyphs near me. Isn't technology great? But this is big rocks just stuck out here in the wash. Pretty cool stuff. We're going to let Zen rest up a little bit, and then we're going to walk off around the corner because I think there's something else up there. Zoom in some more, and these would have been put on many years ago when this water bed, this gravel bed behind me, was a bit higher. These rocks are up there pretty high. Just around the corner of these other rocks, we found some like little shelter caves. Not very big ones, but go back in there a little bit. Let's see, let's kind of poke my head in here. Didn't go too far back in there, but there's looks like a hole at the end, which goes further back, which means something's living back there. So we're not going to investigate any further on that one. All right, down here, one more. Just another, it's like another shelter style cave here. And it's just right across from the petroglyphs, which are right over there. cool. It's like a den of some sort. Once again, not going to investigate, but let the animals do their things. It could be a den or just a bunch of stuff piled in there. I mean, there's little holes, and I'm sure there's critters in there. Why not? It's a good place to hide and be safe. These jagged rocks sticking out of the top. Here's a view around the area. And something else, right above the little caves we were in, which could have been, like I said, a habitat for Native Americans, was this. If I can get the dog to move out of the way, he's right on top of where I want to show you. Here we are. Indian grinding pots, holes. You know, where they would grind probably maybe corn or something in there, some wheat or whatever, some vegetables or some sort of grains. And also I've read that there were sometimes widely used for water collection, because that one there is about a foot deep. So you can get a little bit of water in there, but it's right above the cave area, which is right there. Once again, Google Maps, Indian grinding rocks, and you can find them. Pretty cool. All this history out here, and the best thing about it is there's no graffiti anywhere. So this kind of remains untouched by a lot of modern human hands and modern spray cans, which is good. But yeah, this is kind of cool. And to tell you how deep that gravel is, to what were they? Dirt bikes came in and they hit that gravel and stopped. They had to almost walk it across the gravel. They were so thick they couldn't get a traction on that stuff. It's so deep. But it's a lot of it. More wilderness back in the background. And the view from the rocks of where the grinding holes are to where the other rocks where the petroglyphs are. So this probably, like I said, one time was connected and washed all the way out. I think that mountain over there is what they call the Homer Simpson Mountain, because it looks like Homer Simpson laying on his back. That's what I've heard. So it does kind of, think about it, it does have a little resemblance to it. And all the way through this is the LTVA. I had never been down this far. This is actually almost to the end of the LTVA parking area. So yeah, we're gonna walk over there and catch the road, because we got 2.2 miles to get back to our camp. And the pup dog is getting worn out. I know we're getting close to the end of the BLM, because right over here is a group of houses of some sort. I'll have to Google those and see what that is. And down below us is the Indian grinding pots. These are the backs of the rocks that have the petroglyphs on it, and more interesting things. I found a cave. Yep, I'm gonna go up there and see what it's about. Zen staying here in the shade. Hopefully there's no wild critters. If there are, I'll be right out. Oh, it's probably an old mining shaft, I don't know. Well, it doesn't go very far, but cool. It goes quite a way back there. But once again, I'm not going back to find out. Somebody's put some quartz rock up on the shelves. Some old debris. It'd be a good place for rattlesnakes to hide. They'll blend right in. But, yeah, it goes way back in there. I think a dead end's right there, but still kind of interesting. This is where you need to be at whenever you're in the middle of a heat spell. Come here, hide. See if I can get out without knocking myself out. All right. Whew. There's Pup. He's over there resting in the shade. That's what I'm going to do for a few moments. And here's what Zen does when we take a short break. He's like, oh, what? You gotta move again? Oh, no. Yep, we gotta move again, buddy. We got lunch waiting on us. I'm meeting your friend tonight at a co-camp host, about a half mile down from my camp. His daughters are in town and invited me over for dinner, so that's where we're headed soon. If we can get the dog to move. Are you ready to go? You ready to move? Let's go. Come on. There he goes. Make sure there's nothing around to be scared of. All right. Whoop. You ready? All right, off we go. Came across this cactus, this swirl. I thought it was one from a distance, but actually two. Get closer, you can see the oh, kind of cool. They both have had a rough life. Both still living, but as you can tell by the bottom, they've had a rough time, so they're just about gone away. Just think of like a hawk nest up there or something. Nobody's going to get your babies. And we came back from our dinner with our co-camp host. He's down the way about a half mile to the north of me here. His twin daughters came into town for a few days, and went down and had some pulled pork sandwiches, which were really good. And we're back. This is the next day after a walk to the petroglyphs. And I want to say thanks to everybody who so far has come by and say hi. I'll say howdy, y'all. And Dee and Tim came by today, and yesterday Bill and Bo came by. Bill was on his quad, and Bo was standing up in the back. That's his dog. And just kind of interesting to see, this dog riding around on the back of a quad. But there are a lot of dogs out here. And so I just want to say thanks, everybody, for watching. And, like and subscribe and all that stuff. And we'll see you guys on around the desert.